Thank you. So what I was doing was saying thank you so much for coming out this afternoon. I know for many of you that it was short notice and I apologise for that, but I'm really glad that you made the effort. I'm really looking forward to talking to you about the Study Australia Showcase, which is the purpose of us getting together today. I'm Dr. Monica Kennedy. I'm the Senior Trade and Investment Commissioner. I'm based in Mumbai and I have responsibility for the education strategy for Australia and India engagement for Austrade. So it's my great pleasure to be working here in India at this time. I think all of you will be aware that the relationship between India and Australia has never been stronger. There's a really close relationship between Your Honourable Prime Minister Modi and our Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, but there's also great relationships that are evident and close contact between our various ministers, most importantly for our purposes today, our Ministers of Education. So I'm here today to talk to you about what it is that we'll be doing over the next few weeks with the Study Australia Showcase. So because the relationship between India and Australia is so focal at the moment, you may have heard a lot about Australia, and Australia's education system. We've certainly been working really hard in the Australian government to make sure that Australian education system gets the priority and the visibility that it really deserves. I think certainly here in Ahmedabad we've had amazing success and we've had great joy in being approved to have India's first ever foreign university established in Gift City. And our Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced that earlier this year in an event here in Ahmedabad just after he met at the cricket with the Honourable Prime Minister Modi. So we here in Ahmedabad have good understanding about the interests in good quality education from this state, from Gujarat, and the opportunities for engagement here. We think that this is displaying itself in real interest from students from the region, and so our Study Australia Showcase is here to profile the Australian education system and our education providers, or our universities, here all under one roof. And so the Study Australia Showcase is going to roll out from the 4th of September, starting in Chandigarh, but go to 6 cities in India and then across to Sri Lanka and to Bangladesh to really profile the Australian education system. I think the opportunity for students to be able to meet face-to-face with universities is a really important one. Students and families are often making one of the biggest decisions of their lives at a really far distance. So what we're trying to do with the Study Australia Showcase is to bring Australia into Ahmedabad to provide people who work for our universities to sit down and speak to students and their families about what it is that Australia has to offer, what the universities have to offer, and to support the students to make decisions about the courses that they might like to study and the careers that they might like to engage in. Our states and territories will be joining us as well, and this would be helpful for students and their families when they're thinking about the locations in which the students might like to study and work. I'll talk a little bit, if you'll indulge me, about the Australian education system, because I don't think that generally in India there's been a long history of understanding the system itself. So in Australia we have about 26 million people. We only have 43 universities. So that's a very small number when you see other countries with thousands and thousands of universities. We only have 43. But you'll have heard about Australian universities. You'll have heard about their quality. You'll know people who've studied at them and had great successful careers as a result. It's because Australia has a really robust education system. We have an Australian qualification framework, which is very strong and firm, and it sets the standards for each level of study. Recently, India and Australia signed a mutual recognition of qualifications mechanism as part of the comprehensive strategic partnership between our nations. And this is a real indication that India and Australia recognise that they have peer interests, or we have equal interests in the quality and the standards of education, and that we respect each nation's provision. So the education system is based on this framework, which is really robust. It's supported by a number of regulations and regulators that ensure that Australian universities remain top-notch and they protect the quality of the system. And this includes a special provision called the ESOS Act for international students. So it's one in the world set of legislation that ensures that Australian universities are only able to enrol international students when they've met a set of quality standards, both in the courses that they offer and at the institutional level itself. So these protections for international students are something else alongside the education qualifications and education institutions that has really been instrumental in establishing Australia's reputation. So I mentioned we only have around 25, 26 million people. We have 43 universities. In the QS rankings that were released just a couple of months ago, you might have noticed that Australia has 3 universities in the top 20. So of the 43, 3 are in the top 20. We have 9 in the top 100, and all but a handful are in the top 500 in the world. So there is something about being small, focused, having an excellent quality system that enables us to punch well above our weight when it comes to elite institutions. Certainly having University of Melbourne at number 14 puts us, rubbing shoulders with the others and PQ